What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Soul movie review and breakdown. Now there will be spoilers in this review as per my usual videos, and please do hear me out before hitting that dislike button there. Now this dropped on Christmas Day, and to be honest it was a bit of a buzzkill. I didn't really watch much of the trailers or read much about it before checking it out, but I was excited for a new Pixar movie. But I take umbrage with the fact that the two movies that skipped theatres for Disney+, Mulan obviously having its premiere access and Soul being a Christmas Day drop there, both had people of colour as the lead. The latter was the first ever Disney Pixar movie with a black lead, only for another movie, Black Widow, to be saved the fate of streaming, which had a white woman as the lead. Now, it's not very woke when a movie with a white lead was given the true cinema treatment when the people of colour had to stick to Disney+. Yes, we can get into the idea that Black Widow is immensely bankable and would no doubt make $1 billion, but in a world where representation matters, I personally just had to call out this hypocrisy. Now, while I may be white, I feel the movie itself takes many steps back for representation, as the lead, played by Jamie Foxx, dies and spends most of the movie as a blue representation of a soul, with a white actress taking over his body. Yes, it does feel a bit odd, this movie throughout, but the performances were next to none in my opinion. Now we open with Joe Gardner teaching disinterested kids music, and he's a band teacher. Only one of his students actually seems to enjoy it and got lost in the zone and was mocked by his class. But eventually he's given the full-time job of being the band teacher and music teacher after doing it part-time, and feels conflicted as he is a dedicated musician. Of course, his mother is delighted with this turn of events and wants him to take the job and have music as his career, albeit being a teacher, except he wants to be a performer with music as his career. Now he gets a stroke of luck when a former student contacts him and says that he's got an audition to perform in a legendary musician's band. That musician is played by the superb Angela Bassett, who's sadly only really in the movie twice, but he wows the band and manages to get the gig. Now, giddy with excitement, Joe falls down a manhole and dies, but kind of, as he's on life support and his soul is transported to the great beyond, albeit he luckily skips this and goes to the great before, a place where personalities are made and mentors teach them and give them a full, rounded personality. Now, Joe attempts to go back to Earth through a portal the personalities drop through, but he relents and is taken to a theatre where he finds out he is mistaken for a child psychologist, and an accountant has worked out that there is a missing soul going to the great beyond, and Joe has accidentally been given the task to develop a rebel soul named 22, played by Tina Fey. Now, Joe attempts to present all manner of jobs on Earth and ideas to 22, but they all fail, just like prominent mentors like Gandhi and Mother Teresa before him. Now, eventually they meet Moonwind when they escape into 22's hideout and out onto a plane where lost souls are. Lost souls are the ones who have lost their way and sort of turned into a monster. You can also head into this place when you're in the zone, but can get lost chasing that high of being in the zone. We see this with a stockbroker who questions his very existence, and Moonwind, played by Graham Norton, is a living person who meditates to reach this spiritual realm with others, and it's funny as Joe knows where he works in the city when he's not, meditating. They figure a way to open a portal to help Joe reach Earth. He needs to get to this before his body dies. However, going through the portal, 22 ends up in Joe's body as Joe ends up in a cat's body. But they rush to Moonwind and learn that they can do a soul swap at 6:30, which they plan on doing. Now, 22 finally realise what it's like to be alive, and Joe has sadly lost his gig, but he's told that he can come back to the club early, dress smart, and maybe he'll impress the legendary musician there. However, the accountant who noticed the lost soul went missing, and he heads to Earth to try and get him back. However, 22 is in control of the body and really enjoys every part of real life. 22 learns that in life you don't necessarily usually get to fulfill your childhood dreams or your purpose, as they go to a barbershop after messing up Joe's hair, and the guy's like, well, I wanted to be a vet, but now I love being a barber. But they head to the gig as they mess up his suit. However, they have to go to his mother's to, fix the suit. There we learn that Joe's father was a musician living the same life, and his mother didn't want that desperation for him. She finally accepts what he wants to do and gets his father's suit, and they go to the gig. Now, the middle part of the movie just felt really long. It's almost 2 hours, and it does really, really drag on in parts, especially in The Great Before. However, 22 has a change of heart and wants to find her spark before swapping bodies, and she runs off only to be chased by the accountant and Joe as they get caught and thrown to the portal to The Great Before. Now, Joe says that 22 didn't find her purpose in her own body. Yes, she's got the Earth badge on her that would allow her to go to Earth, but, well, this leads 22 to become disenfranchised and later on becomes a lost soul as she feels she doesn't have a purpose. Now, with this, Joe does take the badge from 22 and lands on Earth. He thinks that he does have a purpose and that purposes are real, albeit being told by the counsellors in The Great Before that they're not actually real. Now, he goes to play, but he feels that he's not fulfilled at all. And, well, he does actually go back into the zone by playing his piano after his gig, and then he finds out from Moonwind that 22 has indeed become a lost soul. Now, he convinces her that you can live your life, you can go forth and not have a true purpose, so to speak, but actually live your life properly instead of living up to what you think you should be doing, which is quite a good message to have in this movie. And then they go to Earth together as he's given another chance at living his life. Now, I enjoyed the movie as a whole. It felt very, very long in parts. I thought parts of it did drag, and I did kind of expect a bit of a different movie there. But it's got a good message, but the representation here just didn't sit that right with me. And I know I'll get dislikes and comments calling me woke or whatever, but I just felt like I had to say something there. When from Disney, it just felt so hypocritical with the corporate sort of wokeness that they have. They present this movie, but it's just not really what it is. It's just the same as the other movies where you have people of colour play just animals and things like that, when we had a white person take over the body of Joe there. But then again, overall, it was a decent movie nonetheless, but these parts just didn't sit right with me. But that's it for this video. Please do drop a like down below. Please do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.